Ooh, welcome back to Punch Drunk Nerd. I'm back, baby. I'm back from Cabo, and I missed my boys, and we are here to talk about some nerd shit. Finally, we can do this thing. Hello, I'm Luis Gonzalez, and with me is
Miguel Sanchez
and Deadpool.
And here I am with my Batman glass filled with some good times. Yes, if you were a listener of the podcast, I said I would order one of these, and I did on eBay, and it wasn't that expensive. Anyway, welcome back to Punch Drunk Nerd. We're going to talk about news. We're going to have a feature discussion about Rings of Power, the whole season, and guess what other show wrapped up? She-Hulk. So we're going to talk about She-Hulk, the season finale about that, and then we're going to wrap it all up in what we are into. Listen, I've been a very bad nerd. I've been relaxing. I don't know what's going on in this world. I'm really going to lean on Miguel and Ed to guide me along on this week's episode. I haven't been paying attention. You know, I watched the She-Hulk finale blackout drunk, and I didn't know what was going on, which didn't help.
No.
So I did rewatch it. But here we are. Going to talk about the news of the week. We're talking about Marvel just now, but some more Marvel news. Guess who is joining the MCU?
Is it
Who? Luis.
somebody who's also owned by two other Disney properties?
He's a he's a Disney cow. They take him and they use him until they abuse him. Harrison Ford doing Star Wars, doing Indiana Jones, and guess what? Now he's in the MCU. I can't believe it.
Dude,
Miguel,
that blew my mind.
You texted me and you were saying there was possibility about it happening, and we were like, "There's no way it's going to happen. Why would he do that?" When he's just like such a curmudgeon
About every role.
About most everything he does. Yeah. No, it was blowing my mind. I will say this. I was texting it initially because I was just like kind of intrigued by it. And here they are just like plumb confirming it. It's happening. Harrison Ford. The goddamn MCU.
It's pretty great.
I was sitting there thinking they got Tommy Lee Jones early on.
They did.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, they did.
And you know what? They were like, let's loop back around on this one.
The other fugitive.
Yeah. I didn't put that together.
That's good. Dude, Tommy Lee Jones was a get back then. I was like, didn't this guy retire? What's he coming back doing MCU movie? And it was cool.
The first Captain America, they were like, we really need this to work.
No, absolutely.
Tommy Lee Jones. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he did.
No, I will say it is sad. Oh, Ed, maybe I should let you say this, but he is replacing the late.
We did talk about it way back when, but yeah.
This says William Holt. It's
William Hurt.
William Hurt.
I'm sorry.
Hurt.
I guess I got crossed between Thunderbolt
There it is.
and William Hurt. Yeah, my bad. Who's William Hurt? That's I'm thinking of Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
That is somebody, isn't it?
Is that Brooklyn Nine-Nine? Is that his name? I didn't know what his first name was.
His first name is not William. It's
no,
something else.
It's Captain, right?
Yeah, just Captain. Mr. Captain Holt.
Let's see. Yeah, Detective Holt. Now we're going to look up.
Yeah, I'm looking it up.
Raymond.
There it is.
You beat me
There
to
it is.
it.
We all knew it.
Yeah.
We all
knew. Yeah, no, continue. Ed,
Harrison Ford. Oh, go ahead, Ed.
What about it?
Oh, sorry. I thought you were going to say something.
No, I think it's a great fit. I mean, I could really see. Hey, what are you doing? You know, Bruce, get over here.
Stark.
You know,
Oh no, wait, Stark's dead.
Stark's dead. Well, yeah,
and he gets to rock a mustache, right? Yeah, maybe.
That's unsure. Like, I could totally see him being like, "I'm not wearing this mustache,"
well, and the thing
then being
is,
"Get rid of it."
This guy, you know, General, Thaddeus Ross, he becomes the Red Hulk too.
Yeah.
Look at him. Yeah, I know, it's weird, right? They actually do art images of him as a Red Hulk already. Harrison Ford is like a fucking dude.
I've not seen that, and I didn't know that was the origins of the Red Hulk. What a twist!
Yeah, what a twist!
Indeed.
There you go. So he's going to appear in Marvel's Thunderbolts and Captain America 4. I mean, it's
Harrison Ford. I now need to hear Ed's thoughts real quick. Now that you just learned that he's going to probably become Red Hulk, can give us your thoughts. Feed it to us, baby.
I mean, I can't even imagine that, because you think about how Mark Ruffalo translates into the Hulk. Like, there's very, like, Mark Ruffalo isms in his portrayal of that. So, like, are they really gonna have grumpy old Harrison on his giant red?
Dude,
all I can picture is like when Anthony Hopkins turned into a werewolf in about the werewolf movie, the Wolfman. You remember that one?
Okay,
that's a shot in the dark.
No.
Miguel, you saw it with me, but
doesn't mean I'm gonna remember.
Okay, well, whatever. But yeah, wow, interesting. I don't know. I was always interested in the prospect of a Red Hulk, wherever he may be or what he may be.
Wow.
And wow, yeah, interesting. What a revelation.
Yeah, I think what happens is he MODOK, who is coming to Ant-Man and the Wasp, or Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania, I think he transforms him into the Red Hulk for some said reason. Go to @PunchDrunkNerd, let us know. We'll talk about it. Listen, I'm a lazy nerd. I don't know, but he becomes the Red Hulk. We know MODOK is going to be a bad guy. So who knows what's going to happen? Mark Ruffalo really commits to the Hulk. He really gives it his all. I just find it difficult to see Harrison Ford give that same energy to the Red Hulk. Yeah. I think he's going to do great as General Ross. He's already given those vibes perfectly as the Red Hulk.
What if it's kind of like a Batman versus Superman situation where they use Zod's body, but like the whatever his name is, Doomsday, is kind of like this different character. What if Harrison Ford's like human form is like no more, and he becomes this like monster Red Hulk?
Oh, that's good.
And it's not really Harrison Ford at that point. Like he can be like, okay, out.
Yeah, he could dip out. He could be like, just put some Savage up there.
And MCU likes to tweak the lore and the
absolutely
the canon. So yeah, I guess anything's. I mean, right now it's really just kind of a miracle that Harrison Ford is joining the MCU as it is, in the flesh, But
I have a question.
Yeah.
So we're hyped about this, but what do you think, like, Martin Scorsese thinks about all this?
Oh, cinema, baby.
Well, I'm actually going to make a TV series.
Yes.
So yeah, Martin Scorsese is signed on to produce and direct 2 episodes of a Gangs of New York series, which was his 2002 Best Picture nominee movie. It was a huge passion project for him. You guys heard of this? You seen this?
Oh yeah,
Gangs of New York. It's like one of my low-key favorites of his movies.
It's a good one.
It's solid. It's like a Martin Scorsese history lesson. And yeah, so they're turning it into the series. Now, it hasn't necessarily, like, it's in the early works, and like Martin Scorsese has been attached to a lot of series. Most recently, there was one that Hulu was producing, The White Castle or something, where Leo DiCaprio was attached to it. They both dropped out. Keanu Reeves was attached to it, and then he dropped out. So that one's kind of in limbo right now too. So anyway, he also did that show Vinyl on HBO.
Oh,
you remember that?
Right.
Which was kind of like, I mean, it seemed cool, but it really was. It had no like direction. And he produced that. Sorry, go ahead.
No, yeah, he also did Boardwalk Empire.
Boardwalk Empire, which actually did come to fruition. So, I like I said, I'm a big fan of the movies. So, and apparently it's going to be dealing with characters outside of that story. So, I don't know. It could be an interesting world to get in, especially the way that TV is right now. I don't know.
Do we know what platform it's going to be on?
No, see, that's what's up in the air. I don't think anybody has. Like, it's
an
in
HBO
production,
grab.
but it hasn't been picked up yet. So,
I bet Apple TV. That's my guess.
Yeah, because they're producing his next film. Yeah, Killers of the Flower Moon. So,
well, with HBO, with David Zaslav cutting all these things, maybe he's like, hey, I can't afford Martin Scorsese. Apple TV's like, give him to us. We'll take him. Yeah. We'll want that prestige.
Hell yeah.
Why not?
That's interesting. It makes me want to rewatch Gangs of New York. It's cool. I think this would be. I didn't expect this to happen.
No.
So I was kind of shocked that they were going to do this.
Yeah, and like I said,
cool.
it was a passion project of his. So if he's like directly involved, and like I said, he's supposed to direct the first 2 episodes. If it does happen, it could be good. Yeah. Long form Martin Scorsese. Great. What I wasn't expecting to see again and somehow found budgeting in a green light? Was
wait, I have a hunch. No, I'm fucking around.
Can you do your best Belgian accent?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, anyway, it's the long-awaited sequel to Kenneth Branagh's Hercule Poirot universe, The Haunting of Venice, or In Venice. I'm sorry.
I don't know what any of this is. You're gonna have to explain this to me.
Okay, so he's had this is a continuation of the Murder on the Orient Express, and most recently the Death on the Nile, which I reviewed earlier this year. It was not a good movie.
It's not good.
It is not good.
I still
so this is interesting. I mean, and he talked. I mean, since Murder on the Orient Express, Kenneth Branagh has expressed interest in bringing all of these stories to the big screen. And I mean, clearly it's happening. And he keeps getting like solid casts. So they've announced that Jamie Dornan, Tina Fey, and Michelle Yeoh have joined the cast of this next one. I couldn't tell you much about the story, but needless to say, there's probably a murder. And he's supposed to set out and find out who did it.
It's crazy how this thing's blowing up, like this little story about this detective. It's just like...
Well, it's been... I mean, they're like famous books. There's been repeated like remakes of these in movies and TV shows. So, and they're not like, I don't know, the most up-to-date kind of thing. I mean, just as far as murder mysteries go, like we've got like Ryan Johnson's Benoit Blanc franchise blowing up right now. And those are actually kind of challenging. I say I've only seen one, like A Glass Onion TBD, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, these almost feel like just comfort movies. You know what I mean?
It definitely feels like that. Yeah. Just sit back, have a good time. Yeah, it's cool. Well, I with all the stuff that we're getting as far as like these properties, and they're making more movies and TV shows. Sure, why not? Let's have this. Let's go crazy. I'm here for it.
We need a movie to take our parents to and stuff.
Exactly. Release it on Christmas. Release it on Thanksgiving.
There you go.
Let my parents buy me a free dinner, please. Listen. Winter's coming. Okay. And with winter comes Ragnarok. God of War Ragnarok is coming. So this is what I have. I don't have that much information, but what I learned is that this thing they were debating whether this was going to be a trilogy or a sequel, this whole story. I didn't know this, and I guess they decided to make it into a sequel, because they didn't want people to wait like years and years and years to get the full story. So right now they're trying to fit as much as they can into the second one. I'm excited to play it. I know Miguel's excited to play it.
Yep.
I also know that this took so long that the guy who did Atreus, they had to redo his audio because his voice was changing. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. The boy from the game,
Atreus,
grew up, believe it or not. That happens. I can't believe that's how long they were filming this, though.
I know.
They had to go back and change that audio. Oh, somebody's making a drink. I see what he's doing now. Okay. Got eerily quiet over there.
You're not supposed to point that out.
No.
Look, it's not much to say. I just thought it was interesting. Wanted to bring it up. Unless you have more, I'll move on to the next news point.
Just that I'm super excited to play this game. Can't wait for it. I've been thinking about replaying the first one real quick. You know what I mean? Dude. To like bleed right into it when it comes out. But I've also played it about 4 times already. So
right.
I'll be fine.
We got to talk about Gotham Knights. That's coming out. We got to see if are you going to play it or no? It's fine if you're not going to, because I understand that things are tough.
I want you to know that the only reason, kind of, why I'm really considering getting it is because you seemed so hype on playing like multiplayer.
Yeah,
like
I am
function.
Yeah,
and I kind of want to play with you, dude.
I do too. We got to find a time to schedule. I was about to text you the other day, and I was going to say, when are you free? When are you typically free? When can we?
Yeah.
Jump up. So we'll figure that out. We'll plan it, and hey, maybe we can Twitch. We can go on Twitch for the first time. Find us on Twitch. We're at Punch Drunk Nerd. Nothing's up there yet. Here we're gonna do a lot of quick news. Just boom, 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 boom. There's some new things in the DC future. Okay, James Gunn is creating a new secret film with producer Peter Safran. Peter Safran worked with James Wan on Aquaman, The Nun, Annabelle. So they're teaming up. and they're working on a mystery movie. Nobody knows. Let's see. Safran's already doing stuff with Shazam and the upcoming Aquaman. It's interesting. I thought James Gunn was going to kind of retire from the superhero genre after doing Guardians of the Galaxy. I know he was doing the Peacemaker season 2, but the fact that he wants to keep doing this, I was like, oh wow, I guess he is not done with this genre. And I don't know. I mean, I like James Gunn, of course, but I am curious to see what he would do for like original content, something that's outside of the superhero stuff. So the fact that he's getting lined up to do more, great for him. Going to be fun. It's a bummer I have to wait a little bit longer to see some original content from him that's not superhero stuff. And then Superman 2, David Zaslav's firing people, but you know who he's hiring? Henry Cavill.
He's back.
He's coming back. A lot of people didn't want him in the WB upper echelon. That's why they said Superman 2 would never happen. Here comes David, old Davey, and he's saying, no, we're doing this, except they need a writer. So hopefully they get that figured out, or the movie's going to be bad. This reminds me of what's it called, that movie Pirates of the Caribbean, when they did the second and the third one, Dead Man Chest and
at World's End.
At World's End, yes. They were like, we're going to do this movie, and they're like, is there a script? No, but we're going to start filming and we're going to start prepping. And like, what are we going to prep? Well, why don't you just start building the ships, building the costumes, and do everything else that we know we're going to use, and then as we write, we'll kind of put this ship together.
Well, I thought the second one was the best one of the lot, so it worked out.
Well,
A-okay.
There you go. I like the first one more than the other two.
Oh,
really?
Yeah, I think like the second one really just kind of leans into the adventure aspect. It has like so many great moments of just like swashbuckling adventure.
Top 5 favorite Pirates 2 moments. Go.
The wheel 3-way sword fight.
1.
Oh, that is pretty cool. Yeah.
The mill. The mill.
Is that the one where his eyes too, where it's like you think he has eyes and then he opens up and he has his other eyes?
There's a lot packed into that movie. I'll give you
right.
that.
It's like years later, right? Years pass, and then Oh, but wasn't there that weird love thing happening between what's her name and Jack Sparrow?
No, it was all facade. She was trying to trick him into, saving Will or whatever. So, like, to get the heart or the key of Davy Jones.
But didn't they?
Or
but
like the
after
Kraken was after Jack Sparrow, so
right.
the only way to get the Kraken off of their tail was to kill Jack Sparrow. So she deceives him and locks him to, and you got like one of the greatest shots of the franchise right there when he looks at the Kraken. He's like, "Hello, beastie." Cool moment.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So is that your second favorite moment of the movie?
Yeah.
You gonna tell 5? That's a lot of moments.
We're gonna come back to it. Just keep it in the back of your head. I'm gonna ask you later. Okay.
Stay tuned for 3 more moments of Dead Man's Chest. Hey, he looked great. That villain. He looked
Davy
fucking.
Jones.
Yeah.
Davy Jones looked fucking good.
Those effects hold up.
Still.
Yeah. Hopefully the effects hold up in Superman 2. Some more quick news. There's been a Little Mermaid poster.
There was.
I mean,
and
it seems
people are still riled up. What I like most about this is that my daughter Lily just calls it the new Ariel. Simple as that.
That's cute.
And that's all you have to look at it, folks. Don't get riled up about anything. It's just a new Ariel.
It seems fun. Yeah, it's a poster. It's cool.
Looks colorful.
I got nothing else to say.
Right.
Yeah. Who else wants to hit some of these news up?
Well, Babylon, a movie that we discussed a couple of weeks ago that we will be seeing in theaters. Guess what? They bumped up that release date from January 6th to December 23rd. So, which not only, you want to get some of that Christmas money, but it also means it's going to be competing with a little movie I like to call Avatar: The Way of the Water.
The water.
Yeah, a little indie flick. That's an interesting one. But yeah, I imagine they're trying to make the most of the Christmas/New Year crowd.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's like.
I mean, it's a good movie.
Because
it's like an adult alternative.
It's something other than
someone
Avatar
who doesn't want to see Avatar can have the option to see Babylon,
and it's clearly going to be like an awards. I mean, obviously there's no word on it yet, but like that's going to be an awards conversation right there. So yeah, I mean, and also like the stellar cast that it's got. I feel like I said, people are going to the theaters. People who don't want to see blue people jumping around, you get to see Brad Pitt jumping around.
Miguel, are you? I don't know what your holiday plans are, but I will be in Texas, in Houston.
Oh, guess what?
Should we organize a movie screening?
Ooh.
A Babylon?
A Babylon screening?
Or back to back?
And then do a live episode.
A back to back.
Babylon and Avatar?
Dude,
Just
I will
be
tell
at the
you
theater
this.
9 hours?
I love it, and I will tell you this. I wasn't going to see Avatar, the second one, but the fact that you said back to back, I'm doing it for my friends. And I'll do it for the back to back. I love me a back to back.
And what a contrasting feature!
Yeah.
Like, yes, sir. Done.
All right, done. All right.
Pencil it in.
Well, I guess I'm seeing that movie. Yeah, we'll pencil it in. We'll organize it. Get a flight. Yeah, great. What else we got?
Miguel, you like this one?
Yeah.
What? I don't know.
You like devils, right?
Yeah.
Far from it, actually. No, so you guys are sick of hearing about Mephisto. Am I saying that right, Luis?
Yeah.
Yeah, right?
Mephisto, yeah.
Mephisto. We've been hearing about Mufasa ever since WandaVision, right?
Yep.
Didn't they say he was going to be like the one pulling all the strings? And then it was Loki, maybe seeing him in Loki.
They even had that, what's it called? Stained glass window in Loki, and people were like, "Oh my god, Mephisto!" And then the director's like, "Oh fuck, I didn't intend to do that. That was just an accident. Like I did.
That is just Loki.
That's just Loki." But yeah, go ahead.
Just another day, another Mephisto rumor.
Yeah,
he's gonna be allegedly in. Oh my god, it's not written down here. Ironheart, right? That's what it's supposed to be.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure it's Ironheart.
Yeah.
Addis, punch drunk nerd.
Yeah, no.
And the rumor this time being it's Sacha Baron Cohen, excuse me.
Sacha Baron Cohen, yeah.
Yeah, a Borat, for those of you guys who don't know.
I'm not mad about it.
No, he looks like I could see him doing it.
And I feel like he...
being a little theatrical, too.
I've seen him do some dramatic work.
Yeah.
And he pulls it off. So, I can see him pulling this off, too. I hope it doesn't get too, I don't know. Too comedic-y. You know what I mean? I want this guy to be menacing. I don't want it to be too...
It is Marvel, though.
Remember when they did that to Ultron? He just cracked too many jokes.
Smart mouth, that man. That robot.
Yeah.
Just like, me.
I was like, what is this?
Someone should wash his mouth out with soap.
He's going to pop up in Ironheart, hopefully with no jokes. And you know what's funny? I'm on IMDb here, and it says he's in Ironheart, and then parentheses rumored. Can IMDb do that? Can they just put rumors?
Like a soft credit.
Yeah,
they do that.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't seem legit. Like this is supposed to be legit news here. This is supposed to be legit.
For this stretch of time before the movie comes out and he's confirmed, or the show comes out, he could be like, "Oh yeah, I was in the MCU." Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Hell, it's so funny because people were just waiting and waiting and waiting for the surprise, and now it's just like it comes out with no pomp and circumstance. It's just like, here's a spoiler. It's happening. Ironheart, and we were like teething, waiting, oh, when's Mephisto coming out? When's Mephisto? Is it going to be this time? Is it going to be this time? And now it's just like, Ironheart, Sacha Baron Cohen, boom.
Done.
And
it's done.
I don't know. Yeah, and so we know that Ironheart's going to deal with technology versus magic stuff. And so I guess it makes sense that Mephisto might pop up in Ironheart.
Mm-hmm. You guys want to know what other great face-offs are coming up? Killmonger versus Kang. It's Creed 3.
Oh.
You got me.
Yeah, Michael B. Jordan versus Jonathan Majors.
Dude, that guy is fucking
ripped,
big. Yeah, he's stacked. Bro. I mean, I could take one of his abs and make a sandwich out of it. That thing is popping out. He's just a big boy.
Carved out of wood. It's just like, but yeah, and a Michael B. Jordan directorial debut.
Directing. Yeah. I saw the trailer and then I had to go back and I had to scrub back and be like, who's directing that? Who did I just see? Yeah. That blows my mind. I was on
with
my
your phone. Yeah. I've only seen Creed. Okay, I love the Rocky franchises. I've only seen Creed 1. I haven't seen Creed 2. But Creed 3, the Rock. What's it called? Sylvester Stallone. I think this is the one where he's not there. Famously is not involved.
Right.
And he's having kind of a fight with the other producer. Oh, it's slipping my mind. But he owns 95% of it, and he's like, bro, give me the rights to Rocky. Kirkman? No, I don't remember his name. The producer,
the bad guy.
It is interesting. Yeah, go ahead. So I don't know. Will you have more to say about that?
Well, the trailer looked good, and I'll pay to see Michael B. Jordan fight Jonathan Majors.
Yeah. I gotta say,
Miguel has some thoughts.
I do have some thoughts, and you guys get ready because from here on down, I got thoughts. Okay.
Okay.
Starting with Creed 3. Yo, shout out Michael B. Jordan. That's cool that he's directing the movie.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, he's very talented.
He's making moves, and also
I would like to see.
He's very passionate about this character.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I could see.
I can't believe this character's gone this long. To be honest, I was like, wow, we did a third one too.
Hey, look at Rocky. So those 4, right?
This is what I'm getting at. 6. Okay.
Fuck off.
To Ed's point, though, they did make that many Rockies. You know what I mean? So it's they're treating Creed as this character of a generation. You know what I mean? And I can see that. I will say this movie didn't look that good. The trailer didn't look that good. I thought it looked very just kind of
by the books,
contrived. You know what I mean? Okay, it's just a sports boxing movie. Looks like it's just I don't know. It just looks like an easy story. You get it.
Is that not what Rocky is, though?
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. What is happening?
Sorry, guys. I just signed up with Be Real, and now I gotta be real.
Shut the fuck up. You're being real right now?
I'm being real right now, bro. Look at this.
The fuck?
Be real. I just said, be real. You got to post it right now, so that's what I'm doing. I have to be real.
God damn it. You're too old for this, Luis. We can't be doing this shit, okay?
Everyone I'm connected with there is old. What are you talking about? I can't do this shit.
Leave these things for the youngins.
All right, we're gonna have a punch drunk nerd be real. No, we're not. Okay, sorry. Continue.
Listen. As soon as this trailer was done, I was like, I don't know how I feel about that. And then I put on the Creed trailer, the very first Creed trailer, and I was like, now that looks like a movie.
That was good.
The
first Creed was good.
Yeah.
I've never actually seen it, but I was much more interested in seeing that as soon as I was done watching that trailer.
Okay.
Than I was this one. So I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, hey, I have not seen any of the Rockies. I saw Creed 1. I didn't see Creed 2, and anyway, this is a popular IP, so hence why I put it on here. Some people are going to be excited for it. I'll see it. Maybe I won't see it in theaters. I don't think I saw the first one in theaters, but who knows? Maybe it's.
I tell you what, it did. Interest me in seeing the franchise, though. Okay, I haven't seen the first one. Well, let's start there.
Yeah, I think
maybe I'll finish it. And
the first one universally was considered a good film. So, Yart.
I'm gonna be honest. I haven't seen most of these trailers because I was a bad nerd. So I'm just gonna be, sitting for the ride here. Let's lock and load.
This is gonna be a kinky thing with you. It's like I'm a bad nerd.
I'm a bad nerd. I'm a naughty little nerd.
You know who else is naughty? Ebenezer Scrooge, famously known in A Christmas Carol, which is being remade into a musical starring Ryan Reynolds and Will Ferrell. Isn't that fun? Yeah, kids.
Wow. I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah,
Luis, you looked into that, dude.
You know what? I'm here for a good Christmas movie. There hasn't been one since A Muppets Christmas Carol, but I'm here for a good one,
dude. That movie's so fucking good.
It's the best.
There hasn't been a Christmas Carol telling.
No. I'm just saying, there hasn't been a good Christmas movie. Full stop.
So, in your opinion, there hasn't been a good Christmas movie.
No, I think
you said that so matter of factly. I thought you were talking about
Miguel,
we haven't seen.
That is a fact.
We haven't seen.
Muppets Christmas Carol is the greatest Christmas movie of all time. Yeah.
It is pretty up there.
Yeah, it's hard to beat. to get all the feelings, all the Christmassy hugs and feels, as well as Michael Caine singing a tune, it can't be beat. With Kermit, Miss Piggy.
I know who the Muppets
are. You familiar?
Who else? Who else?
Rizzo?
No.
Rizzo. I love the little...
Who's the one that goes, me, me, me?
Anyone else?
No, that bit's done. That's done.
Anyway, so this is just like a very fun, I don't know, light-hearted little thing, and it's coming to, just in time for Christmas. It's coming to Apple TV on November 18th. It will have like a theatrical run on November 11th.
Excuse me, there's still Thanksgiving, okay? I don't want people skipping Thanksgiving.
I would gladly skip Thanksgiving.
What? You love food so much. How would you want to skip Thanksgiving?
Why do I want 2 helpings of turkey? Skip that bit. Skip.
What do you mean? What are you talking about,
bro?
The most boring holiday of the year. I don't even
have one helping. Have one helping of turkey, and then the next day have that second helping on a sandy, bro.
Yeah.
Do you know how to do Thanksgiving?
But a lot of people do turkey at Christmas.
It's also about the sides.
Oh, that's what you mean.
It's also about the sides too. You have so many sides you can have at Thanksgiving that the turkey really doesn't become the main dish.
Thing for Christmas.
That's true. That is true.
That is true.
My family for a while, we did this thing where it's like either Thanksgiving or Christmas, we would do like the holiday meal, whichever one.
Oh, interesting.
And then the other one we would switch off and we would do something like the example I always use is like one year we did the turkey for Thanksgiving and then for Christmas we did gumbo. You know what I mean?
Okay. Well, sometimes people do ham. Isn't like the Christmas ham?
The most boring of roasts.
Oh god.
I mean, I like ham. I appreciate ham for what it is.
Clip this whole run. This was a good. This was a good 5 minutes.
I mean, ham is ham. Like the best thing you can do with ham is make like a croque madame or a croque monsieur after the fact. But like ham by its
top 5 ham recipes, Ed.
Go. 2 of the same thing. One has an egg on it.
Okay, sorry, I'm writing something down.
Well, great, Spirited.
There you
enjoy your Thanksgiving meal by watching Christmas stuff.
Yep. Talking of boring things, rewatching this trailer a second time, I found myself a little bored. Causeway, starring Jennifer Lawrence and Brian Tyree Henry. It's a new A24 film, but it's coming to Apple TV. So I don't know what that means. But Jennifer Lawrence seems to be on a little bit of a... I don't want to say like a renaissance yet, because I don't know, but she's like on a resurgence. Clearly, I don't think she's been in much since Darren Aronofsky's Mother.
Right.
Maybe?
No. You're pronouncing it wrong. It's Mother! Okay.
Thank you for that. Because of the exclamation point.
Yes.
But it's all lowercase. Interesting. Anyway, so in this one, she plays Lindsay, a US soldier. She experiences a traumatic brain injury during her tour in Afghanistan, which forces her to return home. She struggles to return to her daily life with her mother as she waits for her eventual redeployment. So, sounds like a laugh riot, and the trailer doesn't really offer much, but just a lot of drama. Talking about a lot of drama, women talking. We talked about this movie a couple of months ago, I think. They released an image. It's the new Sarah Polley directed movie, but it's got a stacked cast, and Miguel has some thoughts about this.
I do.
Hold up on your thoughts, though, Miguel.
Oh, shit.
Well, let me just read off the cast and the... whatever.
Go ahead.
So it's starring Rooney Mara, Frances McDormand, Claire Foy, Jessie Buckley, and Ben Whishaw, and some other people, I'm sure. And it's about women in an isolated religious colony struggle to reconcile with their faith after a series of sexual assaults.
Yes.
Indeed. So, Miguel, your thoughts?
Oh, man. Just knew right away didn't want to see this movie.
Did you watch any of these trailers, Luis? Just real quick.
The only one I saw is this next one that we're going to talk about.
Of course, naturally.
Of course. That's my boy.
that was before my vacation time.
That was a while ago, yeah.
That was a while ago, yeah.
No, I got to say, there's something about so the setting of this is they're like on some farmland or something.
Yeah.
Some sort of cult colony, whatever.
Right.
You know what I mean? It doesn't look like there's a lot of electricity going on. You know it just looks like old timey.
But it's actually in modern days. It's like a contemporary story.
Is it?
Yeah, but that's the kind of like cult that it is.
Like the village.
Yeah.
Like the village.
Well,
you know what I mean?
Right, but without the twist. It's just
the
like
twist.
It's a cult.
It's just it is.
Yeah.
I see. Okay. It immediately felt old to me,
Sure.
and you know how I am.
Well,
let it be in the past.
Cinematography
Let
is
the past
very
die.
bland. Or
Can I finish my
Yeah,
thoughts? Can I finish my thoughts?
Let's hear your
real quick?
thoughts.
God damn it!
it's probably an Oscar contender, but go ahead.
Yeah, don't look too good. This one,
It's
no,
boring. It's not set in 2022. Oh,
looks real stuffy. Hey, I gotta say. No, that's all I was gonna say. There's something about movies like this that put me to sleep. Like,
I mean, look, yeah, it's already like heavy, and then they desaturate it,
Yeah.
and then they desaturate it even more, and then they make it even darker, and so it's just dark on dark on dark on dark. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. It is dark. I'll give it that.
Yeah.
You know what? It's not
has
dark.
reverence.
What's not dark?
Whatever the world is that Mario lives in, which is a
Mushroom Kingdom?
Help me out. I don't know. It's called what?
Mushroom Kingdom?
Oh, Mushroom Kingdom, which is so bright and colorful, like the trailer. Super Mario Brothers.
You almost hit it. There it is. That was good. You had to kind of come into it.
Wow, Ed, that was really good. Do you want to do the voice of Mario?
Oh, sure.
That's better than what we have now.
Oh dear. Oh no.
Oh no, mamma mia, please. Chris Pratt is doing a good job.
Well,
he's not.
It's probably on contractual obligations, like, hey, we can't have any, problematic accents.
Or good acting.
Listen, this is the problem is when you don't have voice actors doing animation and voice work.
That's true.
When this thing came out, obviously we've all seen the trailer now. Listen, the Jack Black part, great. I loved it. I loved the little penguins.
That's Bowser,
I loved the little face off. They've got Bowser, of course. I loved how it was like almost his Bowser ship coming in, but it was instead of like a whole island. That was cool. I liked all the nuances that the penguins had. I thought it was cute. But then when Mario came out, I think Chris Pratt's voice fell flat.
Just like his ass.
It wouldn't be just like his. Oh, but new podcast every Friday. So, but the thing is it wouldn't be a problem if people weren't hyping him up. You know, before this came out, people were like, "Don't worry, you're gonna be astounded by the voice that Chris Pratt's gonna give Mario." And
who said that?
The studio.
Before it came out, the studio did. People were saying that he's gonna have a good take on Mario, and so people were waiting to hear what that was gonna be like because they said it wouldn't be, you know, the Mario that we know. It would be a different take. It'll be a little bit different. But if you haven't heard it, there is an Italian release. And also, more specifically for me, the French release of this trailer. And if you hear the Mario version of that, it tells a really great line of not doing completely the Marioism, because I think that could get old real fast, just kind of like hearing that voice over and over again. They do a really good job of keeping the spirit and liveliness of it, but also having a good performance. And that's what voice actors do. Like, they're able to modulate their voices to make it sound so much better and so full of life and all these little you know, they can do all these things. And I had such I was just lifted with joy when I heard the French version. I was like, wow, I want to see this now. And then yeah, I mean, it was just, I was a little disappointed.
Can I say, I don't give two fucks about this movie. But if we could be real for just a little bit.
I have the app.
Of what?
Be real?
No.
Oh.
No. Don't confuse him like that in the middle of a rant.
What now?
What were we talking about?
I was just gonna say, like, honestly, though, like, again, I could not give a fuck. I understand people's qualms, and I agree with you, Luis. I feel like we do have an issue of just bringing celebrities in to do voice work purely for name recognition. But we knew from the very moment Chris Pratt was cast that this movie was going to be shit on. Like the movie was not by him, but just like by everybody else. Yeah, like it's just like there's no way. Whatever he did, if he had even tried to do an Italian accent or whatever. And granted, this video gives very little context to how his character is going to be. Like, all I can remember is him just like, I hurt my chest or something. And
what is this?
What is this place? Yeah, I don't know. I mean, trailers.
Mushroom Kingdom. Here we go. Let's go.
That's what you wanted to hear.
No, that's what it was.
Oh, he says that.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Well. Anyway,
have you watched the trailer?
It's been a minute because again, I could give a fuck, but I just don't think it ever stood a chance as far as that whole scenario. I think the studio should have probably just done something better, obviously. But visually, it looks pretty stunning. Like the animation looks really great.
Yes.
Like I was very taken with that opening sequence, like you were saying, Louise. Like I have no stakes in this at all, but I was just like, man, they're like really good looking animation. Like, So I don't know. Maybe this movie will have something to offer, and who knows? Maybe they'll pull a Sonic and try and
recast him.
I don't know. Maybe. I mean, it's just animation, right? You just got a voiceover, right? So, I don't know, but yeah, I mean, I just felt like this was always going to be a losing battle for them.
I tell you, my kid loved this trailer. He's big into Mario, and I showed it to him. I was like, "Hey, buckle up! Here we go."
Buckle up, bro. You know, there's a video game of this, right? What?
No, he's well aware. Yeah, but no, he watched that trailer maybe like 60 times back to back. He just kept being like, "I want to watch the Mario movie." I'm like, okay, bro.
It visually looks really great, and I tell you that Jack Black and the Penguin bit's really good. I think.
Oh man,
I think the supporting cast is going to be great.
Charlie Day as Luigi.
He is who I'm kind of most excited about.
And Taylor-Joy as Princess Peach.
Great. I think everybody's going to be great except for Chris Pratt. For me personally, you know. And it's just unfortunate because it's like we've played the games. I mean, me and Miguel have. We've played the games and we've heard the voice over and over again, and we've seen it all the time. And so it's just kind of ingrained into our body and our system where it's like, oh wait, this is like confusing. This isn't what it doesn't line up. You know, that's the only issue with it. It's like let me make a turkey sandwich and then put, you know, ham.
That's called a club sandwich, my friend.
Okay, that was a bad example. I was trying to call back to ham. Okay, you know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I get you. Yeah, I mean, and like I said, who knows? It could just all be context. When you see Chris Pratt playing off of Charlie Day in a scene, maybe that'll be good. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
If you
I was just gonna say, I feel like, you know, and I'm guilty of this a lot of times too. Like sometimes
did it work?
That almost felt like you were saying something without saying anything. No, I feel like, you know, much like, you know, the rest of the internet, I you know, have a lot of knee-jerk reactions and opinions to things. And yeah, I hate Chris Pratt, very respectfully.
So respectful.
I love Andy Dwyer, but
but you know, maybe he'll surprise us, and his Mario, maybe it'll be just different enough, and it won't actually be bad. It'll just be Thank you, Ed.
Sorry.
All right. Well, we can go. Yeah, I could go into it more. And you know, yeah, it's fine.
Hey, I was just trying to add perspective, Luis. I'm sorry.
No, of course. We love the perspective here at Punch Drunk Nerd.
I have no stakes in this movie whatsoever. Like, if it turns out to be bad, I will not be hurt. But I know, obviously, Mario is such a big icon, and obviously they fucked up with the first live-action movie.
That's what I mean. They've been so protective of their brand,
yeah,
and they've been holding on so long to do this that it just
feels like a wasted shot.
But I think it's going to be really great. It looks really fun. Like you said, the trailer looks great. Animation looks great. All the voice actors are great. I feel like I'm going to have a good time. I'm excited to see it. It just,
bums you out.
Too bad that the lead is like this, but it's going to be a fun time. Yeah. I'm excited. Let's go, Mario.
Ed, did you skip some news earlier, like intentionally? Like you were going to come back to it around now, or were you just skipping it?
Did I miss some news? What did I miss?
Skipping it altogether.
Oh, some dead people?
Your favorite segment. Can we actually... I was really working on a segue into this first one.
Let's go back.
Can we take it back just a quick second?
Yeah.
Like, can we wrap up like we were talking about Mephisto, the devil?
Mephisto?
No, be serious, Ed. Be serious.
Okay.
Yeah, I think Sacha Baron Cohen's going to do great as Mephisto. We've been waiting for him for a long time, and we'll just have to see how he turns out in Ironheart.
You know who else is going to see the devil?
No.
I couldn't keep a straight face. I'm sorry.
Both of these people are going to heaven.
No, I know.
Oh my god.
It was just back to back. I really wanted to say it earlier. Thank you.
Oh boy. Yeah, so on that note, and the last 2 weeks where we have been off air, we've had two tragic passings. Gesundheit. Dame Angela Lansbury passed away at the age of 96. Of course, she is known as the wonderful Mrs. Potts from Beauty and the Beast, Jessica Fletcher and Murder, She Wrote, which obviously I have some connection to now because Sarah and I were watching that earlier this year, and I think I talked about it.
You did, yeah.
Also starred in movies like Bedknobs and Broomsticks. She was nominated for 3 Oscars, including The Manchurian Candidate, and received an honorary Oscar in 2014. So
shout out.
And yeah, I think like the last thing I saw her in was Mary Poppins Returns, where she had a brief cameo as the balloon lady. So yeah, sad. And she was also like up for the original role of Mary Poppins, but it was like between her and Julie Andrews. Obviously they went with Julie Andrews, but yeah, she's like one of the all-time greats. Sad to see her go.
Man, what's crazy though is much like Betty White, you know what I mean? As far as I'm assuming all of our lives, like she's just been old forever for all we know. You know what I mean? And it was like when she passed away, I was still shocked. Yeah. My jaw hit the floor. I said, "No."
Mm-hmm. I remember with like Betty White, like who was a Rolling Stone or whoever did the like big 100-year anniversary, like 100th birthday, and then she died like 2 days before her birthday or something like that.
Right before.
Yeah.
It was comedy.
Yep. Who also passed away was Robbie Coltrane, famous probably most notably for the role of Hagrid in the Harry Potter franchise. Most people would probably recognize him from, he was in the Pierce Brosnan James Bond era. He showed up in 2 films as Valentin Zukovsky in GoldenEye and The World Is Not Enough. But yeah, obviously Hagrid, especially in the first 2 movies, he was kind of like the heart and soul of Hogwarts. And he was a character that ran through all of those films. And obviously in the books too, but like Robbie Coltrane definitely personified that character. And I mean, the big cuddly giant, alas, is no more. And it's sad even more so because they did the anniversary last year on HBO, which was not good. But he incidentally said something along the lines like, people will be watching this for years and generations to come. I won't be here, but Hagrid will be. And I think that's true of this scenario. It's just like people will always remember him as that, joyful giant who went to Harry and said, "You're a wizard, Harry." And it's just sad. So, R.I.P. Angela and Robbie.
Here we go.
Cheers.
Here's to you.
You know what?
Cheers.
Cheers.
All right, folks. Well, that's the news of the week. And we're going to move on to our feature discussion. Spoilers alert, okay? We're going to talk about the Rings of Power, and then we're going to talk about She-Hulk. So let's get started.
All right, Rings of Power. You guys watched it, right?
Hell yeah.
Miguel has some thoughts. Luis, do you have some thoughts?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, of course I have thoughts. We're doing this podcast.
No, I'm just like, okay, so we talked about this midway through the season, or a little over midway. It was only 8 episodes. The last one aired last Friday. And yes, a lot of big reveals, a lot of lingering questions, a lot of possibilities for the future seasons, which I, for one, am very excited for. But what did we think of both the final episode and the show overall? Just like general feelings before we get into like the big deets and the big reveals. Who wants to go first? Who was left with feelings? Luis, you got a grin on your face.
Oh, come on! I wanted to go last.
You can go last. You can go last. I'll do last. Go ahead, Miguel. Do some vague.
Yeah, be vague.
So I really enjoyed this last episode, and the season as a whole, I think was pretty good. I'm definitely going to watch season 2. Okay,
right. It's a solid start.
Yeah, I was telling Kristen, at the end of this episode, I was just like, man, not once did that feel like this is a season 1 of a show. You know what I mean? It had like a budget straight from the beginning, and it always looked really good. I did think a couple of lines of dialogue in the finale, especially, and now I can't. I'm not going to be able to remember them off the top of my head. Sorry, but some of the dialogue felt like a little forced and maybe like a little just kind of weak. Just trying to hit points and moving on. But I thought it was such a beautiful show. There were so many good scenes this episode alone. I found myself like getting choked up quite a lot, which I didn't expect. Yeah. We can talk about it, but I mean, I just think like every set of characters had like a kind of a good punch at the end of this season. I was very hooked on all of them.
What they had been alluding to, for the most part, in some most cases, seem to pay off. Like I said, they leave a lot of lingering questions. The last episode only really deals with maybe half of the storylines that we're introduced to. So, but yeah, no, I agree. There were a few moments that got me, namely the half-foot portion of the story.
Can we talk about it? Oh, I'll wait.
Yeah. But obviously, I've been raving about this show from the get-go. I feel like it really nailed, at the very least, the essence of the movies.
Yeah.
But also it, kind of challenged a few of what we've come to expect from the movies as well. Like any expectations you may have come in. Like I feel like I've even contradicted myself from the beginning of the show to the end of it. Like it's taken me by surprise. I didn't know everything that was going on, and that was nice to know. Like not everything was predictable. And obviously they've taken some creative liberties with it, like at least with the lore, to make it kind of work in this structure. But like you said, like just from the get-go, the show looked great. There's so many like beautiful shots alone that are just like really well crafted. So much use of practical effects mixed just very nicely with CGI. Go ahead.
I want to touch on that specifically because that was a thought I had while I was watching this episode. Was it felt very much in kind of a different sense where Game of Thrones felt like you were there because there was like this, you know what I mean? Like, oh yeah, it feels like they're in this like tiny, dark, dimly lit room or whatever. Here it was like very obvious. Okay, there's so much CGI happening throughout each episode, but unlike Marvel, where you feel like they're all just standing in front of a green screen, you really get the sense
flat
that
on the background.
Exactly, you get this sense here that like there is a world around them, and it's almost like almost like a 3D effect in some sense. Like you feel that like
texture.
Yeah. You feel this like well-rounded world. There's not like this wall. We are just kind of like viewing just over the wall into this land.
We're immersed.
Yeah. No, I've been very much digging, like feeling like, oh man, I can see them standing there, existing.
Yeah, absolutely. Luis, let's get some quick thoughts from you.
Yeah, listen, I saw this before I went to I went to Cabo, so I'm trying to remember a lot of things. But the thing is I thought there was so overall thoughts on just the season is I really enjoyed every episode. You know, I think I hate to compare it, but everyone's comparing it to the House of the Dragon. You know, I think the first couple episodes took me some time to get in. With this show, I feel like every one of them was pretty great for me. And I think they did a really good job. I really enjoyed, I know we were able to talk about it last week, but I really enjoyed episode 7. That was my favorite.
And we should touch on that.
That one was my favorite episode of the season. But yeah, I mean, it's really interesting to see this theme of, you know, what is the cost of saving people? You know, I think everyone is trying to save somebody here, but it costs them a lot. You know, the Harfoot, she's trying to save the stranger, but it's costing, you know, the dad to break his ankle or the whole place to burn up or whatever. And Elrond Durin, it costs his relationship with his father. You know, Numenor, it costs the queen's eyesight and people to die. And the dude thinks his son's dead. And obviously, I think we've talked about it that he's not actually dead because he's the one who cuts off. Isildur, right?
Isildur, he's still alive, and that's one of those lingering questions, obviously, that the season leaves off with.
Oh my God!
I think it's safe to assume that he's like alive.
Yeah.
But in what?
Let me tell you, this is episode 7, and there's so much I have to say about episode 7.
Yeah,
but
go ahead.
There was this moment where the horse was like fighting, and he was like, "You have to let go. You have to let go. We're moving on." And then they were like, "The horse isn't listening to anybody." The horse, and this is whose horse again? What's his name?
Isildur.
Isildur. This is Isildur's horse.
And the horse's name is Beric.
Oh, Beric. Okay. And he was trying to like, "Hey, Beric, we're leaving. Yeah, we're going. You have to. He's gone. You have to admit it." And they're like, "He's not listening to anybody." And then the father just kind of like accepts the decision that the horse is making. Lets go of like his, you know, harness, and then he just immediately runs, and this is beautiful wide shot of him running straight to go find Isildur. And I was just like, I teared up for that part for some reason. I was just like, oh my God, this is like, it's so emotional. That part where this horse is just like wants to go fucking save his friend, you know. And I've never seen it like the last time I cried with a horse like that was Never Ending Story, you know. That was fucking depressing.
Oh shit.
Wow.
That was like a sad moment.
That was a sad moment, but this was like, this wasn't like,
this was like hopeful.
Exactly, it was hopeful. And usually when you have animals, it's always like when you cry with animals, it's like, oh, it's dying or something like that. But here it's just like, it was very hopeful.
That's definitely one thing that I love about this show, that they took the time to embrace like a lot of Tolkien's you know, like in all of his works, he always like embraced nature and took time to appreciate nature, and there was always a strong connection with characters and nature and animals, especially horses. And throughout this season, we've seen that through like Disa singing to the mountains,
right?
You know,
that was cool.
Galadriel riding the horse. You know, their relationship with Beric, the horse. You know, they're very immersed in all of that, and the fact that the show takes the time to acknowledge those moments and, you know, celebrate that, I think is like one of the nicer touches to it, instead of just like rushing along, kind of like, I feel like a lot of people would have just like skipped over, who cares what the horse thinks, you know, like you just assume what the guy, you know, the dad is sad that he lost his son. Yeah, that's it.
It's such a unique way of expressing that, you know, in a way that it's not always seen a lot in the eyes of something else. Like this is a this is a guttural feeling that affected even an animal, and how this is impactful not just for the father, not just for the crew, but for everybody.
Absolutely.
And episode 7, it was like what I really liked about it too is so much was said without ever being said, and it was just kind of implied. And there was a lot of these moments where all these reveals just happen with like camera movements or just like looks or just with reactions, and I was just enjoying every moment. Like the moment when she realizes that she's blind, that reveal was very great.
Yeah, it wasn't like overdone. It was very subtle. She kind of stayed true to her character as this kind of stone-faced leader who refused to be pitied or beaten down. I thought that was like a really nice touch, and foreshadowed by her father in the previous episode, I guess, or the one before, right before they sail off to Middle Earth. He's like, if you go to Middle Earth, there'll be nothing but darkness. And like, not only in the grand scheme of like the creation of Mordor, but like very tragic.
Literally.
I mean, and we were talking about episode 7. I wanted to tell you guys, obviously we've been holding off because we want to talk about it on the podcast, but like we're talking about Disa and Durin, and what I was feeling throughout all their conversations, because they were talking about how like Durin's father was holding him back and holding the realm back from just advancing and like gaining an alliance with elves and helping out elves and stuff like that. And they're talking about all of this, and on the plus side, they're trying to help the elves. They're actively trying to do that. They're trying to mine the mithril, but only because of like, I guess, like my knowledge and most people's knowledge of Middle Earth is that their earnestness is going to eventually lead to tragedy regardless, because we all know of the tragedy of Khazad-dûm, where they unleashed the Balrog, which they hinted at the end of episode 7. And to see Disa so just like steadfast, and especially as somebody who sings to the mountain, literally, to, get essentially permission to dig, like, this is where we should mine and this is where we shouldn't, like, and leave the mountain as it is, kind of thing. But she's talking so earnestly about mining the mithril for Elrond that eventually we know that that's going to come face to face with the Balrog and bring the destruction of Khazad-dûm, which is so tragic to me, because you love these characters, and we know as an audience that they're making the wrong decision by doing that, but they don't know it. That moment, whenever it comes, season 2, season 3, I don't know. But like, God,
what is the
really
cost of saving people? That's the question. That's the question this show is asking. Is like, what is the cost that goes into saving and helping others?
Yeah.
Miguel, I feel like you had
like Halbrand.
Halbrand. Yeah. Who's Halbrand again?
We might as well say.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, that's right.
The Dark Lord Sauron.
I was taking it back.
Such a good reveal. I was hooked. That was one of those moments that I was like,
yeah.
What? I mean, because I was so mad for a couple of reasons. One, at the beginning of the season, when that guy falls out the star or whatever, he falls out of the sky.
Right.
I was like, ugh, okay.
The stranger.
Sauron. Got it. Yeah, he's going to be Sauron. And then with the Halbrand or whatever his name is, I was like, oh, Return of the King. And I think I even said that when we talked about it.
Yeah.
Like, we're just like rehashing storylines. I'm liking the show, but I'm not digging this kind of deal. So the fact that they turn that on its end and take it in a different direction, was really good. I was kind of, one of the lines of dialogues I remember not liking was when he was like, they were like, he's not Sauron, and he's like, I'm good. I was like,
I feel like it would have been stronger if he had been, I am good. But just enunciate. But no, I know exactly what you mean. It almost came off just like a little too rushed.
It was a little cheesy, but the overall,
you get caught up with the moment. Yeah,
you know what I mean. I was feeling it.
take down those evil Skeletors people. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Those people.
That was such a cool shot.
I know. I was like, they're indestructible. There's no way to take them. Yeah. The skeletons.
She's wearing like the crown or whatever.
Yeah.
That was very like ring wraithy.
Yes.
That was imagery. Yeah. But that was like emotionally, that was like such a rewarding moment too, because I feel like obviously they intentionally kind of like gave you that red herring right at the beginning,
right?
Because they had a pre-credits scene, like opening credits, where they were like, "Our Lord Sauron," bum bum bum, and then opening credits, and then obviously that doesn't come to fruition. But like, it's like he's embracing his good, and all it took was like little Nori encouraging him.
Can we go back to it? The hobbits now, the half foots or whatever, the Harfoots. I love her. She is so good. Really, all of those characters. Every time they're on screen, I'm super engaged. I think the look of the characters. I think the lands that they're in. I think they get the prettiest music. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I'm just like, yes, I love this show every time they're on.
There was one moment where I was like really crying. Was when
the end.
Poppy like runs up to Nori as she's walking away, and she says, "Why do all the people I love leave?" Like it's just like the sad. Like what I love is always like a proper end to an adventure. Yeah, and you know you're like sad to see it leave, but it's on happy terms.
Yes,
and when. Oh man, it just like melted my heart.
You're right about the proper end.
Like her goodbye to her family.
That's what
it was just like
caught me up.
Yeah, no, it was so sweet, and but also it was like very much kind of like in the same vein of Lord of the Rings. It's like okay, and we're on to the next adventure, kind of thing. Like
it's a sad,
it's a sad farewell, but it's a fond entry into a new adventure. And
it felt like that for everybody, not just them, but also for the new Southland, the Mordor. You know what I mean? It's like on to the new adventure. We're Mordor now. You know, and I
call it a new name, guys.
Mordor.
Yeah, Mordor.
Mordor.
It's funny because I didn't. The reveal even it was like, what are we gonna call it? And I expected them to be like Mordor, and it didn't happen. It was just a pan, and then it just changed the text. I was like, okay, cool. Yeah. We didn't do like some cheesy like. I called this Mordor.
Let's think.
Let's brainstorm, you know. I did get a little confused. I will say this, because I want to talk about something, is the whole light situation again. The elves losing their light. I got a little lost lore-wise.
I did a little bit more
happening.
research.
Okay.
I did a little bit more research. I tried to, because I agree, and this was what Miguel, I mentioned a quibble. Here's my quibble about the last episode. It's only that they didn't give more context to like the transition from them trying to get the mithril to them just suddenly like creating the rings. There's no context as to why that is. So we're talking about
like, wait, I thought we were supposed to use it for the tree, but now a person uses it. Are they like a Wi-Fi signal? Kind of.
I guess it gives off like an essence.
Okay.
The mithril gives off like an essence of the Valinor power or whatever, that lasting life or whatever you want to, or the light. They keep referring to it as the light. My only qualm was that when they decided to make rings for the three elves, it was, I don't know, there just wasn't enough context there to anybody who wasn't like all caught up in the lore. They're just going to be like, okay, so how does this help?
I don't know how it helps. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So you're basically, from everything I could gather, it's just like they are pouring the energy, for lack of a better word, of the mithril, and along with the her dagger, the metal of her dagger, which is created in Valinor, and the gold and the silver represent the trees of Valinor, which were the light of Valinor. There were two trees in Valinor, one was gold, one was silver, and they were destroyed by, at least in this show, they were destroyed by Morgoth in the beginning, and we see the trees at the beginning of the show.
Yeah.
And
wait, but didn't that happen in Middle Earth?
What? The destruction of the trees?
Yeah.
No, that happened in Morgoth came and destroyed the trees, and then the elves left Valinor to go fight evil in Middle Earth.
Oh, wait, what? So hold on. That's where the evil happened. So hold on. So they were chilling, having a good time. Morgoth came, destroyed their tree, and they're like, fuck, there's a lot of evil. And then all that shit's happening in Middle Earth. Then they went to Middle Earth, and then they're staying there to
fight Morgoth to prevent evil from rising again. And that's why that's why elves eventually kind of like settled in Middle Earth. That's also why like everybody has kind of like a sour taste towards elves,
right?
Because they're kind of like overseers. They're kind of
wait. So what do you call it? What's that monster underneath Khazad-dûm?
A Balrog.
Oh, I'm getting those confused. Sorry, that was my bad. Balrog and Morgoth. My bad.
Balrog of Morgoth. He's like a creature.
Okay, I was like,
he's a creature.
I got so lost.
Yeah, I know. It's a lot. Anyway, he's a creature of Morgoth, and he the Balrog, evil of Balrog,
I'm in.
Combined with the light of the Elven, clashed together, made Mithril.
Got it.
Okay, so they're trying to find like a proper material that they can combine that with to make to spread out the Mithril. In this case, the dagger, which was made in Valinor. That's why it's a sacrifice.
Yet another kind of tearjerker moment for me.
Yes.
I was like, that's heavy.
When she had to melt the dagger.
Yeah,
that was heavy.
And then you watch her look through the
furnace.
The furnace. Yeah, I was gonna say forge or whatever, but whatever that thing is called.
Forge is correct.
And then you know what I mean. They just shut the panels, and then they shut the final panel. And it's like everyone else in the room is like, okay, we're walking on, we're moving to do our tasks, but she's and it's such a heavy moment to just let this thing.
It's not like a throwaway thing. She's desperately been holding on to that.
She's
dagger.
willing to sacrifice pretty much anything, and that was a close connection she had to her brother.
You
know what I mean? Yeah. Everyone sacrificed to launch. Who cares? Sacrifice everything. But that was the one thing that she really had to truly let go.
The scene where Sauron gets in her head and starts
manipulates,
hallucinating. She starts hallucinating all these visions or whatever, and how every time you think, "Oh no, she's gonna kind of fall."
No way.
She goes, no. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you can't fool her.
And that it was.
I like her character.
I love that.
I like her too.
Oh, she's definitely my favorite of this series so far. I mean, I love a lot of the characters, but
I really think a lot of them make this show. But she is.
Oh, absolutely. The first season is her front and center in my mind, anyway. But it was the second appearance of her brother with Sauron manipulating her. Was so creepy because it was so subtle. It was like a mirror image of what we saw in the first episode, but with just little, he was dead in the eyes almost, and dead in his reactions, and then when she's trying to walk away, and he's like, "Look at me," kind of thing, and
man,
it gets so intense.
That was so cool.
And then on the raft again, and. They have that back and forth and that shot in the water.
Oh, the shot in the water was so goddamn beautiful. I mean, I was edge of my seat. First off, just the idea that he's you'll be my queen.
Oh, yeah.
And you're whoa, that's heavy. And then he shows her what that looks like. And it was just that darkness pulling you in. Wasn't that something he said in that opening dialogue with her brother in that one episode about going into the darkness of the water or whatever?
You have to touch it in order to find which way you want to go, kind of thing.
Wow. And that was I guess a visual representation of that.
Yeah, and that's what one thing I wanted to note was there is so much foreshadowing, and guys, I tell you, I have probably watched this show a total of 3 times completely.
Nice.
But going back and rewatching Halbrand throughout the season after knowing that he's Sauron adds so much more to it.
But did he want to stay in Numenor and just be a
Yeah, he kind of did. So as I found out extensively is that he, like, in the Second Age, because he was, like, essentially on the run or whatever, as Sauron or whatever. And as we, like, Sauron is the deceiver, he is a shapeshifter. So we might not see him in the form of Halbrand that much in the second season. He might take other forms as well. But he like his time in the Second Age is kind of like a repentant one. But like think of him as like somebody who has like a strict religious belief that all of Middle-earth should be united under one banner, or however you want to put it. But also that one banner is him. Like, he wants to rule all of Middle-earth. Like, so there's, like, still dark ambition there. And so whilst he's trying to run away from it, that's kind of, like, the fun in this season, is, like, you don't know if he's actually being sincere in certain moments or not. But, like, everything that he says throughout the show, technically, is kind of like a half-truth to so many levels. Like, so they talk about that emblem that he was carrying around that signified the like the king of the Southlands, but then she finds out that that man died thousands of years before without an heir. And he was like, well, I did say I got it from a dead man. So like he literally just took it from that dead guy kind of thing.
Yeah.
And you know, she was saying like we fought the enemy in the Southlands. Like, we fought your enemy and my enemy, because Adar says that he killed Sauron, right. And he may have. And so, I mean, it's kind of just cool to see him like setting all of those pieces, and like I said, he's manipulative. They kind of color all of the traits of Sauron that we know. I mean, he's just like pure evil as far as we know, but he's also kind of like this cunning, seductive. You know, so like he kind of plants those ideas for rings and using different metals in Celebrimborn's mind, and then later on, it's like Celebrimborn thought of it himself.
Mm-hmm.
Like, but he's so excited about the idea, trying to get it done and create these things, that he forgets where it stemmed from. But it's Sauron planting all of these things. And the biggest quote that I want to like just quote right now is that he tells Galadriel this in the fourth episode when they're stuck on Numenor and they're both in jail.
Mm.
And they're trying to figure out how to get Numenor on their side. He says, identify what it is that your opponent most fears, give them a means of mastering it. In this case, the elves trying to master their own mortality.
Mm.
And so that you can master them later on.
I remember that quote.
Yeah, so he's planting those seeds, and we all know from the rhyme or the poem that like the three rings for the elven kings under the sky. So that's the first one. We're done with that in the first season. 7 for the dwarf lords in the halls of stone. 9 for the mortal men doomed to die, and 1 of the Dark Lord on his dark throne. So I feel like they're gonna step by step build up to those achievements or whatever. So it's I'm just like giddy with excitement with everything that they've set up and the potential. Like we got like a little peek at his true self when they get that glimpse of his eyes and they're all fucked up and snake-like when he's yelling at Galadriel on the raft.
So
you remember that bit?
I do remember that.
Yeah.
Are the 3 rings, are they who they're going to again? They're going to
the 3 are for the elves.
Which elves in particular?
Galadriel, Elrond, and Celebrimborn. I mean, I don't know if it'll go to those 3, but it'll probably go to the king, the high elf king.
Yeah, I remember they were like, "This is going to be yours, king," and now they're like, "This is for us."
Initially they thought it was going to be a crown.
Well, yeah.
And then they thought it was Sauron's idea to make it
split it too.
A ring. And then they said 2, there'll always be division, right?
Yeah,
but 3, there's balance. So, yeah. It's very exciting.
It is cool. I brought it up too in the podcast. I said something about this Mithril is going to be, it's going to do something with the ring. Bada boom, bada bing.
And you were right. Yeah, absolutely. Right. And what's more is
bada boom, bada ring.
Sauron.
Bada boom, bada ring.
Sauron now has his own forge that is Mount Doom. So he can, and that's where he creates the One Ring in the fires of Mount Doom.
Now that's what I kept thinking about during this episode when they kept talking about making these rings. I was like, now hang on a second. I'm pretty sure the whole reason they go to Mordor, right, is to like throw it back.
Yeah,
from whence it came.
That's right. Yeah. So I was a little confused during this episode. I was like, no, that's not about to be the ring. Okay, good.
Yeah, no, he's far from making that. I think all of the individual races have to create their rings of power. And it's like...
And the one to rule them all.
Exactly. He's showing them ways to maybe put their power into these rings and to rely upon these rings and to struggle over these rings, only to then make a more powerful ring.
Got it.
And how that ring takes power over all the others, I don't know yet.
Okay, I know this. So these rings, like, they're supposed to give the elves life again, right? It pretty much gives them permission to stay in Middle Earth. Without them, they'd all have to leave Middle Earth. So now they're staying.
It carries the light of Valinor.
Okay,
in those
they're going to
rings,
carry the light. That's pretty much what it is. They're just life bearers and the rings, but they have to create 3 because they know that the rings are dangerous because it has some darkness in them.
As one, there'll always be contention for 1 or 2. With 3. And I mean, I'm just quoting the show at this point, but yeah.
Okay. What was, I know I said episode 7 was my favorite. Is there any favorite episodes that you guys had after watching the show?
6 and 7 kind of coincide for me. I mean, the immediate aftermath of episode 6, starting in episode 7, where Galadriel opens her eyes in Mordor and like it's all red and ashy, like that was intense. But episode 6, to that effect, like has like the most action. Obviously, it's really cool action, but also like some good character work. Like we get to see more about Adar, which I thought was really intriguing. Like how he. This kind of brings me to one thing that I enjoyed with Sauron too. It's like Adar felt like he kind of like rebelled against Sauron because Sauron was trying to accomplish these evil things at the cost, at any cost. And Sauron, in the last episode, he says, whenever Morgoth died, it felt like a hand was released from around my neck. So it's like you have these different layers of servitude to these higher evils. But yeah,
it seems like Adar like actually respects the orcs, and he's like, I really want to do good by them.
He is like, yeah, exactly. He does. He's genuinely trying to create a home for them, and that may be as far as his ambitions go. Whereas Sauron's trying to take all of Middle Earth with him,
no matter the cost. Yeah,
right. So yeah, man, that's a tough one. 6 or 7. I mean. Yeah, one of those 2 for sure. I mean, don't get me wrong, I like 8, but then you kind of cut out the dwarfs and Arondir and Bronwyn and stuff like that. So maybe, yeah, I don't know, 6 or 7. 7 probably. I agree. I mean, there's a lot of stakes riding on that one. But this last one too was really good, and like Miguel was saying, it kind of hit me emotionally in a lot of places. So it's very satisfying.
What about you, Miguel?
I'd probably say, this last one, the finale was really good. I mean, it was a really solid like end to the season. I'm hooked. Can't wait to watch more.
I was going to say one pairing that I really enjoyed, again, I'm talking about 7 because I like 7, was Galadriel and that little boy.
Theo.
I was like, what a pairing this is, these 2 people. Because
that you wouldn't expect.
I wouldn't expect. And the fact that they were kind of trapped together, it was almost kind of like the one in Game of Thrones, the what's it called? The bear? No, what's his name? The big guy and
the Hound and Arya.
The Hound, yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah. Thank you.
That's an interesting.
I just thought of it just now, but like it's an interesting pairing and how they're both vengeful, and it's how do you deal with that vengeful heart? And Galadriel's been dealing with it for years and years and years and years, and finally you have this young buck, this young punk who's like just had this feeling like it's my fault. I want to have revenge. How do you cope with this feeling? and she keeps guiding him and teaching him. But
it's very like reflective of herself.
Exactly. And she's growing, and she's having some growth as well. And with that growth, she's able to teach Theo. But then as Theo keeps asking these questions, okay, well, how do you do this? Okay, well, how do you do this? How do you do this? And then at one point, Galadriel's like, I don't know. You asked, like, she's dumbfounded too, where the conversation starts off where she's fully in control. She knows she can give this life expertise. And then in the end, it's like, hey, man, you and me are on the same page. I don't know how to move forward from this. And I thought it was such an interesting pairing.
It was. And it makes you wonder, like, where Theo's place is in the whole story too, because I from the get-go, well, not the get-go, but like everyone online was always saying like, oh, Halbrand's going to be Sauron or whatever like that, and leading up to the final episode, I was starting to believe that Celebrimbor was going to be Sauron, maybe.
I thought he was bad at the beginning too. He was like, "Yeah, we have to do whatever it takes, no matter the cost." And he was like talking.
Yeah, and he wasn't dishonest. He was dishonest, and that kind of like, okay, so maybe there is some deception there. But now I'm starting to think that we don't see Theo after episode 7. I think like maybe he might become like a king of the Southlands or whatever. Obviously, the Southlands don't exist anymore, but he might become a ring wraith later on because he's already been seduced by the power of the hilt.
Yeah,
and he was telling that to Arondir. So I don't know. Speculation, because I thought Halbrand was going to be a ring wraith later on, or like the Witch King. Obviously, I was wrong there. He's like the king. So. Tells you what I know, but what is intriguing is the second season. From all accounts of all these like interviews I've been listening to since the finale, is that the second season is going to focus on Sauron, like this first season focused on Galadriel. So we're going to start seeing more from his perspective, stuff like that, which could be a lot of fun.
Rings of Power, you guys. Shout out.
We did
This was a fun one. Let's do it again.
Let's do it again. And it's going to happen
Season 2.
Well, if we have no more discussion about Rings of Power, let's move on to She-Hulk. All right.
She-who?
She-Hulk. All right. So, episode 9 came out and finally finished the show for She-Hulk. What did everyone think about She-Hulk? I think...
Well, Luis, you were drunk. Let's hear it.
Oh, yeah. I was like, I almost did the finale. And then I watched the finale. I was like, what is going on? I don't understand. And
am I drunk or is this real?
And I had to rewatch it. Okay, so that's actually a great point. Obviously, the last finale was super hella meta, where she was jumping out of the show, literally... going into Disney Plus and going into Assembled and talking to quote unquote Kevin about the show. This basically, what I think about this show is I think it is an experiment, and I think it's something that they do a lot of risks and they do a lot of things. Experimental. It's not experiment. It's very experimental, and so they're trying a lot of new stuff. Does it all land? I don't think so, but. I will say this. I have a sweet spot for anyone who tries to be experimental. Anyone who swings for the fences, you've won my heart. And I'm willing to go the journey with you all the way. And the fact that they were able to try something new and something they've done like 28 things already in shows and movies, and they were trying to challenge that and do something different within the confines of a Disney Plus show, I respect a little bit. At some points, do some of the story points, do some of the themes hit very hard? Are they very on the nose? Yes, I think so. Do some characters almost become caricatures? Yes, I do think so. But they also are working in a very tight time frame in 24 minutes that it was crazy they were able to fit all this into one place, that it almost began to feel like the same structure of a cartoon. And when you watch cartoons, they move from plot point to plot point to plot point so quickly that you don't even think about it. And I know that I think she used to write for Rick and Morty, And so you can see some of this like Rick and Mortyisms coming into play, but the way that it translates into real world applications can sometimes, the execution of that sometimes, for me, isn't always as a success. Sometimes it plays off a little too cartoony, like I said. Sometimes it's too on the nose. But listen, they're trying something out new, so I'm willing to go for the ride. It also feels, it is a legal comedy, but really it's like a legal sitcom in the same way where every week you have an adventure of the week. This is the wedding episode. This is the magician episode. Like when you watch Parks and Rec, there isn't one strong through line. Yeah, you have the one through line of like that we got to fill the pit. But every week it's like, we have the baby horse episode. We have the episode where, they go fishing. We have the episode, like none of it really ties in. It's just like the episode about, them going to the basketball game. And so every episode felt like it had its own little thing that it didn't, like we had the Hulk episode, we had the Daredevil episode, we had, again, the wedding episode, the magician episode. And then at the end, they try to tie everything back together, just like they do in, Parks and Rec, where they finally fill the hole of the pit,
Right.
They try to connect
the story,
more of the story and all that.
The through line.
Through line, yeah. But, I mean, it's a short show that tries to cram a lot in there. I feel like it has the DNA of a cartoon. It's experimental. I think a lot of things are hit over the head, are on the nose, but for the most part, it was an easy watch. It was enjoyable to see, and I think it was, it was fun to see them taking discussion points on the internet and putting and like integrating them into the show. Because some of those comments that they make about She-Hulk are actually like were pulled from real internet comments into the show. And like these are real discussion points that people are having. And so it is kind of fun to have that meta relationship with the show and for them to at least like call that out and say, this is the thing. Do they do it a little bit head on and on the nose? Yes. But, they're trying.
Let me ask you this. Obviously, Daredevil's coming to the MCU. We're going to see some sort of like Daredevil MCU movie or show or whatever at some point. I just said Daredevil. I'm sorry. I actually meant Deadpool. Ryan Reynolds.
Right.
We're going to see like some sort of Ryan Reynolds Deadpool in the MCU at some point. It did feel kind of odd to me that She-Hulk was so like fourth wall breaky. You know what I mean? It's like, why are we not saving this for
Deadpool,
the guy that already does this? You know what I mean? Although I did enjoy it. I enjoy her character doing it, I do kind of wonder, like, how is that going to translate? Like, are we going to see more She-Hulk in the future where she continues to do that, and then we have multiple characters that break this fourth wall?
It's got to be totally. I mean, now that she's broken it, you have to want to see She-Hulk and Deadpool together because they're both breaking, fourth walls. Like, what the shit? That's my thing. You know what I mean? Like, I could totally see him calling
that. Bro, wait a second, bro. Was that your Ryan Reynolds?
I guess so. Was that
what you were doing?
Yeah,
dude, it sounded kind of like him, man. Yo, you kind of have a knack for that. I don't think we've said this, but like, dude, you've done like Sylvester Stallone. You were doing someone else earlier. Now you're doing Ryan Reynolds. I'm just saying, like, maybe this is like something you should tap into, bro.
All right, yeah, I'll tap into it more. We'll talk about it next week.
I'm not blowing smoke. I was blown away by that Ryan Reynolds.
Thank you.
That was good.
Yeah, no, I love to see them together. I think that'd be cool. Ed, now look, before this, we didn't know if we wanted to talk about She-Hulk because me and Miguel watched it, but Ed didn't. And then he surprised us in a text message saying, all right, boys, I watched it. I've seen all of it.
Watched it all.
You guys know I can't stand being left out of a conversation.
I know.
I was about to sit back and let you guys talk about it without me.
I'm curious because we watched it week by week, but you binged it all in one sitting. So I'm interested to see how that.
Yeah. So I definitely felt like early on I was just like caught up in too many shows to like that I was watching week by week. That I just couldn't keep up with it, so one had to give. And after it was like the first 2 or 3 episodes of She-Hulk, I was just like, I think I'm gonna wait for the end of the season like this. And I'm doing the same with Andor right now because I feel like that one is kind of definitely telling like storytelling in segments of like a couple of episodes per plot point, if that makes sense. So anyway, yes, rushed through it yesterday, and I gotta say, I fell in love with the show. I thought that last episode was kind of like a stroke of genius. Yeah. I feel like you said, there are a couple of things throughout the show that were very on the nose. But man, I was having such a good time with it. I remember watching episode 4 yesterday, 24 hours ago, and thinking like, man, this is fucking hilarious. Like that episode, like when they introduced Mr. Immortality or whatever. I was having a great, like, what a fun character. But like everything, like all the interactions, all of the banter and the chemistry between She-Hulk and so many of her co-stars were so much fun. Like it felt so natural. It wasn't just like forced. Like I can't stand that just kind of like back and forth banter that's so forced. That's trying to be funny, but it's not. Yeah, you know, it was so tried. But like everything felt so natural and organic. And the last episode had me rolling. Like I even texted you guys a quote from Kevin, which I'm just going to shout out the acronym right now because it cracked me up. Knowledge Enhanced Visual Interconnectivity Nexus. I just thought was fucking brilliant. But like, yeah,
his little hands. I loved his little hands.
Yeah, it took me by and like she sits Kevin down Feige and he's just like, yeah.
The Kevin Feige hat.
And she sits down and the robot, the computer is literally, oh wait, you're sitting down.
Yeah.
It was just like, man.
But, and it calls out like all the third act bullshit too. It's like, you know, where all these stakes where they have a big explosion, big fighting. But these are my stakes. That the fact that I'm trying to cope with this, that those are my real stakes, you know. And so I was like, yeah, that's what people think.
Because as a Marvel fan who has from day one struggled with the fact that every movie ends with that big CGI fuck.
Kevin was like, wait, people are saying that?
Yeah, basically. I just thought it was a very nice touch, very just like self-deprecating, but also self-embracing. They are aware. Yeah, I like my biggest qualms with the show. I mean, like you said, there's some bits that were like hit and miss. Why are you laughing?
You've said qualms a lot in this episode, and you're saying it like qualms, like you're saying like
I'm enunciating.
QWAMS, qualms. You know what I mean?
But it's QUALMS.
Qualms.
Yeah. Which I mean, if you had hit qualms really hard, that would have been hilarious as well.
Enunciate like an elf. Qualms. I have some qualms. I'll try and come up with a better word. I'm sorry, Miguel.
No, say it again.
Qualms.
Oh.
How do you say it?
No, I'm going to try to say it.
Yeah, now you're going to say like QW.
Like qualms.
Quams. I got some quams. No, it's just... and also I haven't been exposed to the new Daredevil, so it was kind of nice to have like a Daredevil-centered episode too.
What did you think of Daredevil in this show? I mean,
I enjoyed him, and what really sold it for me was the chemistry between the two of them.
Dude,
I will say this.
Yeah.
And beautiful. I liked it when it suddenly...
I want them to be together.
Only on occasion the episode or like a couple of episodes actually like dipped into... like you were saying, like courtroom dramedy, which I know isn't a real word, but like comedy drama.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I feel like, not that I've ever watched a single episode, but like I know going into the show, they were saying like, oh, it's kind of like MCU meets Ally McBeal, which I guess is like a similar kind of concept. Obviously, that was kind of like the adult comedy drama about a lawyer or whatever. Shout out to Harrison Ford. But because he married that actress.
I didn't know that.
You guys didn't know that?
No. That was a deep dive. That was.
Not really. I feel like that's just common pop culture knowledge.
You're dating yourself.
Clearly. I am common pop culture knowledge.
Ally McBeal.
Yeah, Ally McBeal, Harrison Ford. Yeah, who's talked about that fucking show? But yeah, no, I mean, I just like, but yeah, we were talking about Daredevil. Yeah, I enjoyed him as a character. I don't. Will I go back and watch all of the Daredevil shows? Should I? I don't know, but
it is very good.
I will say,
that's the one to watch.
Yeah,
season 1 of Jessica Jones, very good. Daredevil, very good.
My wife has a family member who's super into the Daredevil Netflix show, and I asked her, no. I asked her, I was like, are you excited, about the new Daredevil show? Because I mean, like last time I talked to her, she talked my ear off about Daredevil. I was like, oh, she's a big fan. She's going to love the fact that they're bringing him back. And she was like, no, actually, I think they're really gonna stray the character away from like what made him good in that show. And I'm looking at Daredevil, the Netflix show, and I'm not looking at Daredevil beyond that.
Interesting.
And so in this series, She-Hulk, where he's kind of like they're cracking a lot of jokes. I don't know if he does a lot of jokes in the show, the original show. He's like yellow and red.
I didn't like that outfit.
I didn't love that. We're seeing him in the
Ketchup
daytime.
And mustard, I think she calls it.
She did.
Which I was just like, yeah.
It does kind of look like that. And so I was kind of thinking of, her as I was watching Daredevil in the show. It's just like, whoa, like this is a very like MCU Daredevil. But
it's also,
I think some people are going to like it. I think some people aren't.
Yeah, I can see how it's, dividing, definitely. I just feel like you either go into the show and you're kind of open to it, or you're not. And there were like 1 or 2 episodes where I was just like, whatever. But like overall, I think the overarching theme to it was like fun and well earned too. It wasn't just like, let's jam as many jokes and self-references as we can. It felt, I don't know, like it kind of just created its own characters and went along and stuck with it up until that final episode where, like, I don't know, at that point I felt like I was just like here for it. Like they opened with that super retro
that was cool
of the Hulk, like the
show,
Hulk
the
series.
TV show.
I thought it was great. I was just like, how fun must that have been to shoot? Like just like very, very fun. And then just like her like breaking out of Disney Plus and all of that. I was just like, man, this is just like the creators having a fucking great time.
I didn't notice, Luis, that she jumped into an assembled movie or whatever. I didn't catch that.
I didn't notice that.
I didn't catch that at first. I think that's just one more layer to it. That's really
so she's looking like, which one do I go to? No, not that one. That one. That one. And it's the assembled one because she should get behind the scenes.
That's good.
I
think my biggest
say it.
My issue really just like in and out was just like the CGI of the She-Hulk from time to time, honestly.
Well, and they make a joke about it too. They were like, if you could transform off camera, the VFX team has moved on to another movie.
That was hilarious.
And then it played the Wakandan music because Black Panther is next. So it just had a quick little Wakandan sound. I was like, oh my God.
It's like, I don't know what the budgetary restrictions are on this. It's like, would it be better for me to transform, or no, we'll just cut away and come back? That was great.
I think they're aware of it. Yeah.
Absolutely.
You were talking about Daredevil. Before we go, I think Daredevil's introduction to this was a legal comedy, and so not only is it MCU. Oh, sorry, is this weird?
Why are you holding a knife right now?
My bad. I'm fidgeting. It's one of my.
Okay.
This is why I like.
Are you fidgeting or are you threatening? Because I don't know.
Threatening you.
So you are in LA.
No, I think Daredevil going into this is MCU and a legal comedy on top of that. So it's a lot of like comedy, and I feel like when he does his Daredevil show, it'll be like a little bit more, hopefully, a little more grounded than we're seeing him here. Hopefully, maybe he'll go back to the red.
I mean, I think those, especially the three characters we're going to see from all those shows, is Daredevil, Jessica Jones, and the Punisher. You know what I mean? The Punisher, especially, and Daredevil were pretty dark characters.
Yeah.
Like, I have to imagine they're going to bring back some of that tone, because otherwise it's going to feel like completely different characters. You know what I mean?
It's like a parody of those characters. And I get that. And and I mentioned this whenever we started the show, is just like, I guess my overall concern is just like how this meshes in with the MCU, which we've always taken so, kind of seriously to a certain degree. I mean, obviously there's always been humor throughout the MCU, but it's always been within the context of the story, never like wall breaking, like fourth wall breaking kind of thing. And so that's my only thing. And I appreciate that it's kind of like experimental. And for me, with She-Hulk as like a singular series and storyline, it worked for me. But outside of that, how does that apply to the rest of the MCU? And like, how much are we gonna, I don't know, cut between those kind of themes and attitudes? Because like that last episode really, really broke boundaries, and and then. Like, are they just going to start acknowledging everything else as, like, ludicrous and ridiculous? Like, make it, like, self-deprecating and stuff? I mean, we already kind of got that with Thor, Love and Thunder. It was, like, almost too much to handle.
Yeah.
So, like, that just kind of calls into question, like, where we are going forward. And that's, like, my only other thing.
Shout out to the Lady Thor reference we got in this episode too, with the group of incels or whatever.
Yeah,
where they were like, "Don't get me started on Lady Thor." You know what I mean? Where they were,
yeah,
where they were like, "It's you got to earn it." You know what I mean? I was like, "Whoa, this is gross." Like, I loved that they're.
Oh, the one guy who says like, "She-Hulk, what about He-Hulk?" I was like, "You mean the Hulk?"
Straight up Hulk.
That was great. Yeah, that was good.
The tongue in cheek.
It was very astute.
Yeah.
I liked it for that. I mean, yeah. So it's just a very interesting, very surprising for me at least. I just did not expect it to go the way that it did, and I'm kind of glad that it did. It kind of. I mean, this is, I could say confidently right now, this is definitely one of my favorite MCU shows.
Ooh.
Okay. So,
it is a lot of fun. Although the internet will tell you it's bad. Oh, man. You know what I mean?
So much.
Well, yeah, I mean, this show clearly, like, I don't know. All those people complaining about this show, they call out in the show. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, they
do. Exactly. So it's just like, all right, you assholes. But this is also why we need to do like a post phase 4 coverage of just like all the content we've had since Endgame, and perhaps a ranking.
Yes,
that's
we still have to do. What we need to do is we need to rank the Marvel Plus, the Disney Plus Marvel shows.
There you go.
And rank them.
Mix it up a little bit.
Yeah.
Listen, wait, before we move on from She-Hulk, just like a quick, just like a little sprinkling of misogyny real quick.
Oh my God.
Okay.
Is CGI She-Hulk, is she hot, Ed?
Oh my God.
Ed, go.
No,
Ed,
I guess
She-Hulk, is she hot? No?
No, because I was too distracted.
Moving on. Luis, She-Hulk, is she hot?
Absolutely.
Okay, good. Miguel, I mean, she's kind of doing it for me. I'm not gonna lie. No, that episode.
I do like that it was a very sex positive show. Like they were just like,
get it?
Yeah, like we're all out to fuck kind of thing. And
who isn't?
Yeah, exactly. Who isn't? And the fact that they weren't shy about that at all, I really loved. Like, fuck it, like. That was like a shocking moment where in the last episode where one of the second to last episode where those hackers hacked into that gala and they slut shamed her. This is like no. Just we're human beings. We like sex, okay? But shout out to Sean Carter. He is a huge fan of Tatiana Maslany. Right? Did I say that right?
Yeah. I want
Tatiana Maslany.
It makes me want to watch her other show.
I actually thought her friend
Gina Rodriguez.
Yeah. No.
Pugsley?
Ginger Gonzaga.
Ginger Gonzaga, yeah. What was I saying?
Nikki Ramos.
Yeah, she's great.
I thought she was really cute.
Yeah, she's great.
Oh, okay. It got too real.
Oh, sorry.
It was fun when it was CGI and not real.
Oh, I love their guy friend from Pug.
There you go.
He was hilarious.
I was watching the subtitles on it, and then they were like, "Oh man, this guy's great. We vibing. Yeah, he's kind of hot too. I'd do it." Like it was like a subtitle. I was like, "Wait, what did he say?" Yeah, I don't know. It was funny too. They were calling out his hotness.
They were at the incel. At the incel meeting, I was thinking just some other character. No, you're right. That was hilarious. Yeah, and he's hot.
Like, yeah, he's hot. I was like, "Wait, what?"
Wait, hang on.
Yeah, I did feel strangely about. The only one thing was like Wong felt a little bit sometimes out of place for me in the show, but that's like neither here or there, and it's fine, whatever. It's interesting
kind of like holding
like,
Phase 4 together.
Tim Roth was my biggest.
Really? Oh, I didn't mind him.
Wrong. I have a soft spot for the Incredible Hulk, but I just felt like his whole like laid back. It just wasn't doing it for me, and not like as a character, just like Tim Roth's portrayal of it. And I just don't
think Tim Roth.
Yeah,
wow.
I just don't like it's. Like a shout out to my own countrymen. I just don't think we play off like casual, like American humor as well as Americans do. You know what I mean? I don't know.
He was in a Carmitage.
He was what?
I said he was in Carmitage with Wong, so he got his like zenness going, and so he was very chill.
Sure. I appreciate that as a character, but I just like, and I hated that rendition of him as Abomination, but
he was a lot bigger than the Hulk at that one point. I was like,
he was so big.
I was like, was he that big? God.
Yeah, no, exactly. But he's like a developed character, right? Or just like his monster, whatever.
Oh, like,
but like the fact that they just like put his face on that big monster, it just looks so odd.
He did have like these little beady, sweet eyes at one point,
Yeah, exactly. I was just like, man, they gave him blue eyes too. Yeah, what an abomination.
But
anyway.
So She-Hulk. I don't think. Yeah, I mean, that's She-Hulk. We got Black Panther coming up. I got tickets.
Ooh.
I got Black.
I haven't got mine yet.
I got them the day they were released, baby boy.
Of course you did. What comes in the popcorn bucket this time?
Oh, I don't know. This was the first time this Thor hammer.
Yeah.
Do you have that right by you every time you record?
He carries it everywhere.
What do you keep in there?
I'm gonna send you a bucket of gummy bears, and you need to fill that bitch up.
Honestly, we need to have like tchotchkes in the back. I'd have this here. I'd have this Pokemon thing back here. I'd have what else could I have? I have this little thing. Okay. Anyway, we're getting distracted. Go to YouTube.com and just search for us, Punch Drunk Nerd. Great. This is our feature discussion. That's wonderful. But now we're going to move on to what we're into. Stuff that we've been watching, stuff that we've been playing. Miguel, what have you been into?
Hey, yeah, welcome. What you're into, what we're into. This is the segment. Sorry, I'm getting my notes ready. It's one thing. I've only been into one thing. I thought we were going to talk about She-Hulk here, so I only prepared one other thing. I've been playing Mafia 3 on the PlayStation 5. Mafia 3. Ed, do you remember playing that Godfather game on the PlayStation all those years back?
How could I forget?
I know, baby. What a fun game. Yeah. The original Mafia game got re-released over the last year or so. They did like a total remaster of the game to bring it up to like current gen standards. And I was really interested in playing that one. But the only one I had access to at the time currently is Mafia 3. So I downloaded it. I've been playing it. I'm only I'm still in the first act, only a few hours into the game. But it's a lot of fun. You build. You are Lincoln Clay. You are a recent like Vietnam vet. You've come home from the war. You live in New Orleans, Louisiana. I'm sorry, I kept wanting to say Los Angeles, and I was like, that's not the L.A. And it's about you coming back from this war and realizing like your neighborhood, your family, your people are getting all kind of caught up in all the violence going on, and you kind of take over, and your goal is to like build a crew and take over all like the ganglands and stuff like that. I'm still pretty new into it, but so far I'm having a lot of fun. A couple of the things I get a notice every time I turn the game on that they're like, you're playing this on the PS5 and it might not work perfectly on the PS5.
Oh, really?
And I'm like, yeah. And I'm like, oh, okay, good. So every time something kind of funky happens, you're kind of like, okay, whatever. It's just like the funkiness of it.
Yeah.
But no, I'm having a good time. I think like the gunplay, the violence, the driving are all pretty like visceral. You feel like, oh man, I'm like driving really recklessly or blowing this guy's brains out.
I never played those games. I don't know anything about it. Like, is it like a GTA thing, or I don't know?
There is a little bit of this like Grand Theft Auto vibe to it, just in kind of a different world, a different setup that I'm kind of into because I've played Grand Theft Auto 5 so much, and as I'm waiting for the new game to come out in the next lifetime, I'm having a good time playing this one for now. The initial reason why I looked it up is because I wanted to play that new version or that remastered Mafia. So I think I am going to get into those eventually. Because I have such fond memories out of playing that Godfather game with you back in the day.
It was so fun. Yeah.
Exactly. And I kind of want you to get into it
that
too.
One.
You know what? That's kind of what I was looking for, right? I was looking for that taste.
Yeah.
But I'm settling for Mafia 3 right now. I'm having a good time, still getting into it. And I'll have more to report. I should have written this down just very briefly. I know the fans are clamoring for this. I am still watching Mad Men, although very slowly. I've been very busy. And I will say this, shout out Josh Brown. Josh Brown, the last time I saw him, he flew up to Denver for a work trip, but he saw me for a little bit, and we were chatting about Mad Men, and I was telling him how much I loved it. And he said, Mad Men, great show, but it just gets so bad.
Aww.
And so ever since he said that, I've been like, is this the season? Is this the season?
Right.
Season 5, I expected.
So like most people say that, right?
Yeah. But I hadn't heard that. So season 5, I was expecting to be kind of, well, I don't listen to you, Ed. Okay.
Clearly.
I don't listen to you. Josh Brown was my first best friend. Okay. So season 5 came out and I was kind of thinking, oh, this is it. This is going to be the bad one. But then season 5 like got really good, had a lot of really good moments. And then season 6 started and it was one of those just immediate like drops in quality.
Oh, really?
Like, I could not believe how fast it happened. Like all of a sudden I was like, whoa, this is like Don Draper is doing things that like he would never do, and it doesn't make sense. Even if you're like, oh, time has progressed and all these things have like evolved this new character. No, like it was just like all of a sudden
become a character of himself, or like
absolutely
grabbing. Yeah,
absolutely. It was like, oh no, we've gone too far. And season 5 had kind of a good finale to it. That it's, I'm not saying season 5 should have been the end, but you know what I mean? Like they could have maybe found a way to like make that a more permanent ending. And maybe it'll pick up and get a little bit better because like I said, I thought season 5 was going to be a little rocky, but it got really good. So maybe season 6 will be the same, but as of right now, ugh. And that's what I'm into. Thank you guys for listening. Appreciate it.
All right. Thank you guys. Good night.
Ed.
What are you into?
What am I into? Aside from watching like Rings of Power over and over and over again.
Clearly.
Are we gonna talk briefly about House of the Dragon? Or...
yeah, we should talk about that just briefly, just touch and go, right?
We almost had a short podcast. Okay.
No, we'll skip it. Hey, the finale's next week. We can.
Let's hold it. Let's hold it for a little bit.
Let's hold it. We're having our friend Steven come back next week to talk about House of the Dragon.
Did you ask us about that?
I don't need to get permission. Okay. I'm sorry. I should have asked.
You're right. You're the president.
I thought we talked about that as
we definitely were begging for Steven to come back.
That's right.
Please,
Steven, come back, please. Just kidding. So yeah, obviously Rings of Power and House of Dragon have been my main thing. Every Friday we've been watching the great British Bake Off, or however you want to call it, the Great British Baking Show. But no, season 3 of Derry Girls just dropped on Netflix 2 Fridays ago. Been trying to spread it out with Sarah. We really love this show, and this is the final season of it. You know, English television series, short and sweet, 6 episodes per, 30 minutes tops. But Derry Girls is fucking hilarious. There's so many just like pop culture references, so much just like over the top characterizations, but it's so sweet and endearing. I love it, and I would recommend it to anybody who just needs like a new comedy in their life.
That's me.
So we're about, I think we've only watched 4 episodes of what is a 7-episode season for this last season.
You're halfway done. You're almost done.
Yeah, like I've been the one telling Sarah, like, no, we're gonna watch
down.
1 or 2 episodes a night, and that's it. Just trying to endure it and enjoy it. So
yeah,
that's all we've been watching. It's a great show. It's a lot of fun. So far, anyway, this season. So yeah.
I tried watching this show like forever back, and it was one of those things like I didn't get into quite right away, so I just kind of left it. I didn't realize how many seasons there were. I mean, I think at the time there was only 1. So shout out, season 3. Gonna have to check it out.
So minuscule as they are.
Gonna have to binge it.
Like a fart in the wind, it is already over.
Is Derry Girls kind of like, for some reason my brain associates Derry Girls and Trailer Park Boys or whatever that show is?
No.
Are they very different?
They're very different. Okay. That's fine.
One is a good show.
Oh.
Trailer Park Boys is pretty good the first couple seasons. I'll say that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Derry Girls.
Again, that's just my brain.
I'm finishing up Abbott Elementary because I've caught up so quickly. I think I have a couple episodes left. But now that when that's done,
what?
Abbott Elementary. And so after that, I saw Derry Girls season 3 come up on Netflix feed, and I thought, hey, that's going to be the next one after Abbott. So
I would love it if somebody else dove into it, because me and Sarah love it.
Yeah,
then,
I'll give it a shot too.
It's a lot of fun, and like I said, before you know it, it's over. So the episodes just roll into one another, and the characters are so fun.
I love it.
Maybe you'll need subtitles.
Didn't they do a Derry Girls? We talked about this. A Derry Girls Great British Baking Show episode.
They did. I haven't watched it, and I need to.
It was a Christmas episode, I think.
Naturally, that's when they bring all the
they did a fucking one with Ray, and I still haven't seen it.
Ray
from Star Wars.
Oh yeah, like they'll have like celebrity ones.
I guess it's going to come out this year, huh? When it comes out.
Yeah, I guess I never take the Christmas one seriously because it's not like an actual competition. It's just like, yeah, but it's like, let's just bake a fucking Christmas cake.
But it's a callback. You get like all the old bakers coming back. You know what I mean? From different seasons, and I
love it all.
They always bring back the fuck up. There's always one fuck up in the Christmas episode. They're like, who comes back
for redemption.
Yeah, he never's going to redeem himself, but they always bring him back just for like shits and giggles.
As you think about it, it's just primarily a man.
Yeah,
it's usually like the male fuck.
It is.
Because it has predominantly been won by women. Sexist show, but
yeah. Paul Hollywood, when you have a talk with you. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
It's all good fun. What I've been into, we were talking about Marvel. Another Marvel thing is Werewolf by Night. Boy, oh boy, this is great. I think this is probably one of my favorite Phase 4 things that I've seen.
Ooh.
It's only an hour long. It's directed by Michael Giacchino. He, famously known for being a composer for Star Trek, Inside Out, Spider-Man, Up. What else? The list goes on and on. The Batman. My goodness, the Batman. He's done so much composing. He's always wanted to be a director, make movies, and he did it here. And there's a character in here that you think would be fully CGI, and the way they play it off, it's like, wow, it looks really good. And it's because they mix practical and CGI in a great way. And that's spoiler alert.
Can we say it, or is there a spoiler?
Spoiler alert. Skip 20. Yeah.
Spoiler alert, everybody. Is it the man thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
So they do a great job. And
the werewolf.
Yeah, the werewolf. So, I thought the story was going one way, then it went another, and I think it does a great job of setting tone. I think tone can be a personality. I think it can be a character itself. And they do a really good job of that and not just kind of doing the same old shtickety thing that Marvel's been doing. And so after seeing this happen, I really hope that they give him the helm of like Midnight Suns or something of this dark world, the dark Marvel stuff. So I'm here for it. If you haven't seen Werewolf by Night, we're still in Halloween. Check it out. It's less than an hour. It's digestible and it's great. Werewolf by Night. I'm also watching Netflix's Midnight Club. We talked about this on this show because we talked about the trailer. It has Michael Flannigan. Do you guys know Michael Flannigan?
Yeah, he did Haunting of Bly Manor and Haunting of Hill House.
Yes.
And Midnight Mass.
Exactly. He did Midnight Mass. So it's really interesting and fun. He's becoming like the Netflix
Master of Horror.
Yeah, Master of Horror, where every during this time he'll always release something, and it blows my mind. He's like the what's it called? Ryan Murphy. Ryan Murphy does all the American Horror Stories. He's like the Ryan Murphy for Netflix, but he has a little bit more class. And
I was about to say, I don't hold Ryan Murphy in high regard at all.
In the sense where he's constantly producing and making content that it's always pushing out there. But he is writing.
It's less flamboyant.
Yeah, he is writing, and he's trying a lot of new stuff. I'm blown away by the man's talent. He's always writing and directing this stuff. I can't imagine how he has the time to put all this together. I mean, he has also done movies at the same time. It's been really interesting to watch the Midnight Club. It does this thing where they are telling stories within the story. So there's an overarching story, but every episode in the Midnight Club, these kids who have terminal illnesses, they go down to the basement or they go down to the library at 12 and they tell ghost stories to each other. And when they tell those ghost stories, we actually see that story in the show. So you kind of get these like mini, I don't know, like it's an anthology inside of a bigger story is what's happening. Yeah. So I'm halfway through. And I just want to see when he made his stuff because I feel like he's always making content. He did.
Are you enjoying it? At least, I mean, like, do you feel? I saw Gerald's game. Sorry, I'm looking at his IMDb now. Yeah. I didn't see Dr. Sleep.
I didn't see Dr. Sleep either. But look, I mean, he's doing something every year. Look at this.
Yeah.
Haunting of Hill House, 2018.
2016. It's been, a project every year, basically. That's interesting. I kind of went blindly into Bly Manor and Midnight Mass, but like they both ended up. I mean, I don't think Bly Manor was as good as Hill House, but still quality stuff.
Yes.
He's definitely a director, creator that I'm very much intrigued by.
He's pumping out stuff, and he has like an affinity for like these old Gothic houses too. You know, the Haunting stories. Of Hill House, the Haunting of Bly Manor, even the Midnight Club where they're staying at. It's like in a spooky house, and just looking at his IMDb, I'm already seeing he's in post-production for The Fall of the House of Usher. And that's going to be
Raymond?
The next... no, The Fall of the House of Usher. It's going to be on Netflix. It's going to be next year's, Halloween movie. But this guy just keeps pumping it out, and it's crazy. It's cool. But Midnight Club, if you're in for some of that Mike Flannigan juices, check it out.
Is that like a weekly release show?
It's all out. It's all out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
And you know what? That's all she wrote. Oh,
murder.
That's murder. Thank you so much for coming back, everybody. It's been so good. We've been gone for too long. I couldn't believe it. It's been 2 weeks. I missed this show. I missed doing it with Miguel and Ed. I'm just overjoyed that we got to come back, and I can't wait to do it again next week. All right. So huzzah. And until next time, it's been me, Luis Gonzalez, and of course,
Miguel Sanchez.
And Deadpool.
And until next time, later, Gators.
Hey, Skaters.
Aw, little kissy.
Aw.
Do you remember that time in She-Hulk when he injected himself with that serum and he then licked his lips?
Oh. Ew. I didn't realize he licked his
The
lips.
douchey kid?
The douchey kid, yeah. He's like, and he licked his
I
lips.
liked that his body started breaking right away, though. That felt good.
Yeah. Come at me, bro.
I loved it.